one of these men is a professional boxer and champion of the world. What is your name, please?
My name is Davy Moore.
My name is Davy Moore.
My name is Davy Moore.
Only one of these men is the real Davy Moore. The other two are imposters and will try to fool this panel. Ralph Bellamy, Betty White, Johnny Carson, and Kitty Carlisle on To Tell the Truth with your host, Bud Collier.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and welcome once again to Tell the Truth, brought to you this week by Anacin, the headache remedy with a special combination of ingredients to relieve pain, fight depression, and calm jittery nerves. Anacin. Good evening, panel.
Good evening, Bob.
And a special good evening to the gentleman down there at the end. Ralph, it's been about a year, I guess, since we...
Quite a long time, Bud.
Welcome back to the fold.
Thank you.
You've been way down to Saigon with the hospital ship Hope, haven't you?
Yes, I have, with Dr. Bill Walsh, who was, I think,
he was on our
here
show
as one of the
Yes.
contestants
That's right.
one night. Yeah.
Oh, we're glad to have you back.
Thank you.
Okay, panel. Open up your envelopes for the first time and remove the affidavit cards and follow along as I read. I, Davy Moore, am a professional boxer. As an amateur, I boxed for the United States in the Olympic Games. To date, I have won 50 and lost 6 of my professional fights. I am champion of the world. Signed, Davy Moore. You all set, gentlemen? Very well, panel, you heard, as did I, these 3 young men all claiming to be Davy Moore, boxing champion. And we will begin this first round with our own boxing champion, Johnny Carson. Johnny?
Mr. Moore, number 1, what division do you fight in? What weight?
Flyweight.
Flyweight. Number 3, what division do you fight in?
Number 3?
Bantamweight. Featherweight.
You're a featherweight. And number 2, how about you?
Bantamweight.
2 bantamweights and a featherweight. Number 3, what is your counter punch for a right cross?
A counter punch for a right cross.
Mm-hmm. How do you counter a right cross?
Left hook.
A left hook. Number 1, how do you counter a right cross?
With left hook.
Number 2?
Same.
Mm-hmm. Number 1, who holds the current professional light heavyweight championship of the United States?
Archie Moore.
Number
Kitty Carlisle.
That's funny.
Is Archie Moore number 1 any relation of yours?
Not yet.
Number 2, what's the difference between a flyweight in weight and a bantamweight in weight?
Flyweight and a bantamweight,
Yes.
about
In pounds.
6 pounds.
Is that all? Number 3, who is Jimmy Carter?
He's a lightweight champ.
Number 1,
Ralph.
Number 1, who is the colored fighter who went blind and died in Detroit? Number 3, number 3.
I beg your pardon?
Who is the fighter who retired, colored boy, went blind and died in Detroit?
I don't know.
Number 1, do you know?
No.
Number 2?
No, I do not.
Number 1, who did you beat? Who did you win your title from?
From Hogan Kid Bassey.
Number 2, I know what a cauliflower ear is, but how do you get it, and what's the cure for it?
You get it from too much boxing, too much beating around the ear.
Well, I mean specifically, I know that too much, but what happens to the ear? Number 3, do you know?
Yes, I think it swells up.
Sure does. Number 1.
I'm afraid the bell just rang,
I'm
Ralph,
sorry.
unfortunately. Betty.
Thank you, Bud. Number 1, how many weight classifications are there?
There's heavy, light heavy, middleweight, lightweight, bantamweight, and flyweight.
Number 2, what's the difference between flyweight and featherweight?
Flyweight and featherweight, the number of pounds. Flyweight is 112, featherweight is 126.
126. And number 3, how many different weights, just give me the number, how many different classifications of fighter would you say there were?
Well, it claims to be 8.
8?
Right, that's it. And without any further classifications or anything else like it, we have to mark our ballots now. So will you do so, panel? In any weight you like. Without consultation, vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3. Our team of challengers, as is customary, will receive $250 for every incorrect vote. And we'll find out about those now. Ralph, for whom did you vote?
Number 3. I think he was quicker with the answers. They were all pretty good, but there was a little hesitation from the other two, it seemed to me, and number 3, and he looks like a fighter.
Betty, which one did you select?
I took number 2 on the strength of his quick answers on the different weights, and the flyweight and featherweight. To me, sounded, but I don't know, so he sold me.
Johnny, your vote.
I voted for number 3. You won't believe this. I used to fight. I used to box. No, in the Navy.
In the Navy, yes.
Yes. It was a light chicken division. I'm voting for number 3 because he's got, I believe I can see from here, a couple of little scars on his face. That's either from, boxing, or he lives in the same building I do.
Kitty.
I'm voting for number 3, too. He's the only one that has the slightest mark on him, and although Davy Moore is a pro champion and he's won all his fights, I know you don't get cut up if you're winning. At least I think you don't. I've never seen a boxing match. He has a few marks, and he knew Jimmy Carter.
All right, there we have it. Now, all our votes are in, and we'll find out whether we're right or wrong as we discover right now which one of these gentlemen is the real boxing champion. So will the real Davy Moore please stand up? Thank you, Davy. I'd like to tell you for your information that Davy Moore has been the featherweight champion of the world since 1959. And I believe it was just 2 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that right?
Right.
When you defeated, in Tokyo, the Japanese champion. Well, congratulations to you for being a fine champion and a very successful future to you, Davy.
Thank you.
Pleasure having you on the show. Now let's find out about the others. Number 1, would you tell us your real name and what you really do, please?
My name is Eddie Chan. I'm with the Administrative Department, Warwick and Legler Advertising Agency.
Thank you, sir. And finally, number 2, your real name and what you do, please.
My name is Roy Godwin. I'm in the U.S. Navy.
Thank you, sir. One Navy man to another here. Well, we checked the score, gentlemen. We find that the panel was a little smart there. They got 3 right, but there was 1 wrong, and that means $250 from Anderson for you, as well as a gift package of all the fine products from the makers of Anderson. We thank you very much for being with us. Success to you all in the future. God bless you. Now, here's how you can get relief of headache pain.
From doctors' offices across the country come survey replies of what doctors recommend for headache, neuritis, neuralgia pain. 3 out of 4 doctors recommend the ingredients in Anacin. Doctors know with most headaches, pain mounts up. You feel dull, depressed. Tension puts nerves on edge. Now, aspirin has just 1 pain reliever. Add buffering, you still get just 1. Only Anacin of the 4 leading headache remedies has special ingredients to relieve pain fast, help overcome depression fast, relax tension fast.
I feel great. Headache's gone and my stomach isn't upset.
And no wonder. Anacin is like a doctor's prescription. That is, a combination of ingredients, a particular combination that brings fast relief without upsetting your stomach. Remember, aspirin, even with buffering, has only 1 pain reliever. Take Anacin with ingredients 3 out of 4 doctors recommend. Anacin for fast, incredibly fast relief.
Now, may I present our next team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Rebecca Garner.
My name is Rebecca Garner. My name is Rebecca Garner.
Follow along once again, panel, if you will, with your copies of this affidavit. I, Rebecca Garner, known professionally as the Empress Leota, am an animal trainer for the Kelly Miller Circus. Although I have worked with both elephants and bears, my present act is much more difficult and dangerous. To perfect it, I practiced 3 times a day for 8 months, learning the proper way to use the whip, the chair, and the gun. My act consists of 8 leopards, 8 Siberian wolves, a zebra, a black panther, and me, all in one cage at the same time. Signed, Rebecca Garner, animal trainer, and let's start this round of questioning with Kitty Carlisle. Kitty?
Thank you, Bud. I'm very, very impressed with these ladies because they must be very courageous, whichever one is Rebecca Garner. I'm afraid of rabbits. So, getting in the cage with 8 leopards, how do you train, number 1, a Siberian wolf?
Like you would a dog.
Number 2, do you train animals through kindness or fear?
Fear.
Only.
Only.
Do you reward them, number 3, if they do the tricks properly?
Definitely not.
You don't? You hit them?
You don't hit them, but you're the master. It's strictly strength. You outsmart them.
Number 1, who is Clyde Beatty?
A wild animal trainer.
And number 2, who is Frank Buck?
He captured wild animals, most famous in the world.
Thank you.
Ralph.
Number 1, what's the weight of the chair and how do you hold it?
You hold it in your left hand with a gun.
With the gun?
Yes.
What's the weight of the chair? Number 2, do you know?
About 3 pounds.
3 pounds. Is it a regular chair? Or
Not exactly. It has a circular, and you put your arm through this way and hold the chair this way, holding the gun here and hooking your finger around the top of the chair.
Very explicit, thank you. What caliber gun, number 3?
I use a .38 police revolver.
What do you use, number 1?
38 police special.
Number 2, I suppose
38
the same
police
thing.
special.
Yeah, all right. Number 1, what's the size of the ring? Dimensions of the ring?
About 47 foot.
In diameter?
Circle, yes.
Betty.
Thank you, Bud. Number 3, you said you have worked with bears. What kind of bears did you use in your act?
I use Kodiak bears. They're more ferocious.
Number
They
2,
give a
what
better show.
kind of bears did you use?
Kodiak, Himalayan.
And number 1?
Kodiak, Himalayan, polar bears.
And polar bears? Number 2, which kind of elephants did you work with, African or Indian?
African.
And number 3, which kind of elephants did you work with, African?
African also. African females.
Number 1?
Indian.
And, well, says you work with 8 leopards, 8 Siberian wolves, a zebra, and a black panther, and those zebras can be rough. I know that.
To say nothing of our own Siberian wolf. We have to go to him now. Johnny?
Very good.
Empress, number 1, have you ever been clawed during your act, I mean?
No.
Have you ever been,
No.
number 2, have you ever
No,
been?
never.
Number 3?
Yes, I have. Quite often, on the legs mainly.
By what? I mean, by a zebra or a... Well, I know a zebra can't claw you on the
No, the
leg.
zebra bites. It's my panther that I'm most worried about.
You have been bitten by the black
Not
panther?
bitten, clawed.
Just clawed.
Just clawed.
Number 2, where did you get the name Empress Leota?
Well, that was from our manager, Mr. Miller. It changes. Actually, the name doesn't change, but the city does every day.
Oh, depending on where you're playing.
I'm from Hungary one day, Vienna the next.
Okay, now you'll have to mark your ballots from Hungary if you wish, but you have to mark them, unfortunately, so get to it. And without any consultation, vote now, if you will, for number 1, number 2, or number 3. All set already, everybody? Ralph?
I vote for number 2. I have to vote for her because of that extensive answer. I have some doubt in my mind. It might be number 3, but I'm going with number 2.
Okay, Betty.
This just may not be my night, you know. Ralph, incidentally, your show last night was so beautiful, I have to add my voice to that.
Thank you.
I voted for number 1 on the strength of the fact that I have never heard of African elephants working in an animal act. It's enough to have them in a zoo, but it seems to be Indian elephants are more used in animal acts.
Johnny.
I voted for number 1. I'll tell you why. This is kind of...
All right. Okay, Johnny, tell us.
No, I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because I know quite a few people who do work in circuses, and it has always struck me that people who work in circuses off, away from the circus, are very quiet and not quite as outgoing as other people. That's why I voted for number 1.
Yeah. Kitty.
I made a terrible mess. I voted on the first game of here I put number 3, but I didn't mean it. I meant number 1. What am I to do?
Well, did you change the number 1 before the other votes came in?
I heard Ralph say his vote as I was changing it.
I'll allow it.
All right. I voted for number 1 because number 2 and 3 said that they don't use any kindness with the animals, and I don't believe you can train an animal without some kindness. And I see him slipping them something after the act, you know, fish or...
That's a Mickey.
And I agree with Johnny. I think that the quietude and the sort of inner calm and serenity, it's number 1.
Boy, what a way to get peace. All right. Here we go now to find out whether we're right or wrong as we learn which one of these 3 ladies is the real animal trainer or tamer or what you will. So will the real Rebecca Garner please stand up? Thank you very much, Miss Garner. The panel has done real well tonight. Believe me, they're uncovering the truth no matter where it goes. Let's find out about the others. Now, number 2, would you tell us your real name and what you really do?
My name is Frances Meehan, and I'm a sales coordinator and demonstrator for Westinghouse Electric Corporation.
Thank you. And we come now to number 3, your real name and what you do, please.
My name is Marilyn Gillis, and I'm a school teacher in Valhalla, New York.
She knows how to train wild animals. I'll tell you. No, any problem. There's a note being... What does it say? Pass it along here. What is it you want brought out?
Note.
I can't see in the dark over there. What does it say, Ralph?
Give extra vote.
Give extra vote? The extra vote? All right. Because I allowed Kitty's vote, then our judges backstage say that I should allow that as a wrong vote, so that means 2 wrong votes to the panel, which means that instead of only 2, there will be 2 right and 2 wrong, 2 incorrect votes at $250 each for $500. From Addison and the gift package of fine products will make it about it. Good night to you, and God bless you. All right. That sort of equalizes things off a little bit. And now we have a word of interest about a new nasal spray.
For sinus congestion and head cold's distress, use Dristan Nasal Mist with a decongestant most prescribed by doctors to bring quick, deep relief. Look, the nasograph shows almost no air through this victim's nostrils. Now, Dristan Mist sprayed into one nostril. In seconds, it penetrates deep into swollen nasal and sinus passages, promotes drainage, thus relieves pressure, controls postnasal irritation. Now, nostril sprayed with Dristan shows free breathing restored. Get Dristan Nasal Mist.
And now a word about heat.
Backache due to muscle strain, fatigue. No matter how hard you rub, no salve, no liniment penetrates into stiff, aching muscles. Get immediate relief, hours of relief of backache's minor pain. Get Heat. Heat works the only counter-irritation way doctors everywhere accept. Brush on Heat. Immediately, heat penetrates into skin, replaces pain with soothing warmth. So stiff, aching muscles relax. Relief lasts for hours. For backache's minor pain, get immediate relief. Get Heat.
Now here's our 3rd team of challengers, panel.
What is your name, please?
My name is Charles Howard.
My name is Charles Howard.
My name is Charles Howard.
For the 3rd time tonight, panel, will you follow along with your copies of this affidavit? I, Charles Howard, run the only school for Santa Clauses in the country. The course lasts 5 days, and the curriculum includes proper makeup, Christmas stories, and how to be jolly. We also teach our potential Santas how to deal with problem children like the tear spiller, the whisker puller, and the promise asker. We manufacture authentic Santa Claus suits which sell for $270, including wig, whiskers, and stomach pads. To date, some 500 department stores have been serviced by our graduates. For some 8 years, I personally have been Santa Claus in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Signed, Charles Howard. trust you're all comfortable, gentlemen. And we will start this round of questioning to find out which one of these gentlemen is the real Charles Howard, who runs the school for Santa Clauses, with the young lady who always makes us feel every day is Christmas, Betty White.
Thank you, Bud. A school for Santa Clauses, I learned something right there. I always thought it was Santa Claus. Didn't you think that was I thought so. Number one, what do you do with a child who pulls your beard?
You let him pull it, but you prepare for it. When you see that evil gleam in his eye, you slip your hand up under your beard, just take hold of the bottom of it, and when he pulls, you holler ouch just as loud as you can. That frightens the child, and it's all over.
Oh, number two, has anybody sneaked up on you ahead of time before you had a chance to prepare?
Once in a while, yes, they get a hair or two, but not very often.
But I mean, did they ever pull the beard completely off?
Oh, no, it's impossible to pull it off.
Johnny.
Number one, give me the names of the reindeer, Santa's reindeer, real fast.
Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Dunder and Blixen, and of course Rudolph.
Well done.
Ho, ho, ho. You have a 5-day course, number two?
Yes.
You have a graduation ceremony?
Oh, yes.
Well, what happens at graduation ceremony?
Well, you give them a certificate proving that they have completed this course and that they're qualified to act as a Santa Claus.
I see. Number three, how many years have you been doing this?
The school has been running under my control for about 17 years.
17?
Kitty.
Number one, I don't like to be crass, but it says here that the whole shebang costs $270. Who pays for this? The graduates or the department stores?
Depends on who pays the tuition. If the store sends the man, they buy the suit. If the man comes on his own, he buys the suit.
I see. Number two, what do you tell them when they ask you for promises?
Well, one thing in stores, we never make a definite promise.
I see. You sneak out of it.
That's right.
Ralph.
Well, number one, you say you run the only school. Actually, I ran one time.
Why, wow.
Actually, it wasn't a school, but I'll tell you the story. Two friends of mine were in financial difficulty, and I set them up in a Santa Claus sort of a place they could come to rent a Santa Claus for an evening or a party or something. It went broke. Number two, where did the name Santa Claus originate?
Well, it goes way back, actually.
That I know, but where?
Early in the 4th century, the Bishop of Myra was at a place called Lycie, and it's now part of Turkey, actually. And he became the St. Nicholas, and that's where the name comes from.
That's where the name Santa Claus comes from. St. Nicholas, St. Nicholas, St. Nicholas, St. Nicholas, Santa Claus, Santa Claus. There you are. See how easy it is? And it's time for you now to wrap your little Christmas stockings around your ballot and mark them right now, if you will, please. Which one you think is the real one. And in doing so without consultation, you will vote, please, for number one, number two, or number three. All ballots marked? Oh, you're fast tonight. Ralph.
Number one. I just think his answers were quicker, and he indicated a little faster sort of more experienced knowledge.
Betty?
Well, I switched at the last minute because we hardly asked... how do you do? We hardly asked number three anything, and we really didn't get too many answers from him. But that Santa Claus, the thing you did, that sold me on number two.
Sure. Johnny?
Well, I don't want to be anti-Santa Claus, but I remember when I was about 6, and I stood in line for about an hour waiting to see Santa Claus, and when I got there, you know what he said?
What?
Keep moving.
I voted for number two. First place, his Santa Claus lore was marvelous.
You voted for which one?
I mean, number one. Number one.
You're having a rough time tonight here, Kitty. Boy.
I voted for number one, because his Santa Claus lore was very good. He knew all about the reindeer, and also when I visualized the three gentlemen with the beards and the makeup and the whole outfit, number one looks more like Santa Claus than the others.
Okay, there you have it with our reasons, however they may seem to you. That's it. And we'll find out now which one of these gentlemen runs the school for Santa Claus. So will the real Charles Howard please stand up?
Oh, sure.
Oates, would you tell us your real name and what you really do, please?
My real name is Percy Cole, and I'm originally from Ontario in Canada, but I'm now with the Canadian Pacific here in New York.
Thank you, sir. And number 3, your real name and what you do.
I'm Dr. Ralph Heel, Executive Secretary of the National Pest Control Association.
He goes around and sprays the chimney before Santa Claus comes down every year. Well, gentlemen, in checking the score, we find there were 2 incorrect votes at $250 each. So for the second time tonight, $500 comes to you from Addison, as well as a gift package of fine products from the makers of Addison. Thank you for making our pre-Christmas so bright. Good night to you, and God bless you. Well, it looks like we used up another evening. I hope it's been jolly and happy for you in this pre-Christmas fun we've had. I also would like to ask your indulgence, panel and audience, because of a little thing that I have written here. It'll explain itself. I wrote it just about a half an hour ago before the show. Christmas won't be quite so jolly. It won't be as happy or gay. There'll be much less tinsel and holly, for Kitty is going away. So many have moved west, and now Kitty will be making her home out there, too. I wish I could say something witty, but I can't when I'm feeling so blue. I'm sure you'll all join me in praying for Kitty the best that there is. But the panel and I will be saying, through all of our grief, that showbiz. God bless you, Kitty.
Thank you.
And good night, pal. Bud Collier saying good night from Addison and reminding you to tell the truth. Good night, everybody. You can go all by yourself.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production.
This is Harry Morgan. More frantic than Auntie Mame, more life than Methuselah. That's Gladys. It's Pete and Gladys. Next on most of these CBS television stations.
To Tell the Truth has been brought to you by Concentrated Heat Liquid, the liniment to relieve minor rheumatism, arthritis, or backache pain for hours. This is Johnny Olson saying good night for To Tell the Truth. This program is pre-recorded.